Hello and welcome to Home with Sarah Jane. In today's video, I wanted to share our 2023-2024 homeschool read out loud choices. So if you are new here, hello and welcome. My name is Sarah and I'm a homeschooling mom to two girls, ages 11 and 14. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by once again. I do really appreciate you. So, like I was saying, I wanted to share what I chose for our read out louds for this upcoming homeschool year, the 2023-2024 homeschool year. Now, most years, I like to theme our family read out louds in some way. Last year, I did Book and a Movie. That went just so amazingly. We had so much fun doing that. My kids really enjoyed it. The year before that, I believe we did author studies where we read a short biography of an author and then, read some of their works. And that my kids really enjoyed as well. This year, I was struggling. I was struggling so much, and I was feeling a lot of pressure about the fact that I'm about to have a high schooler, and I'm starting to feel like, I don't want to say I'm like panicking, but I'm starting to feel like I don't have that much time left to teach her things that I wanted to teach her, school related, obviously. I don't know. I started to feel pressure. And this year I was putting too much pressure on myself to come up with a theme for our read out loud. So I just decided I'm just going to pick books that we either at one point started to read and, put them down and never picked them back up. And not because we didn't enjoy them, but just because, sometimes that happens. You start a book and life gets busy and you just don't pick it up again and you move on. So I decided to pick a few books from that list. And then also I decided that I just want to read fun books. I just want to read books that sound amazing, books that my kids are really going to enjoy. So I chose 20 books for our read out loud list for this school year. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but for us, we do read quite a bit. We do it every single morning during breakfast. Sometimes we even read during lunch and dinner. We are constantly reading. So 20 books really isn't unrealistic for us, but some of these are kind of thick. So we'll just see what we get through. I'm not going to say to myself, I guess, I'm not going to tell myself I have to get through every single book this year. I just want it to be fun and exciting. So whatever we do get through, we get through. And if we get through all of these and I need to choose more, I do have a couple that I still had on my mind that I decided to just, cut it off at 20. So there's that. Now, another thing I wanted to mention before I get into it is that I might be picking up a couple of literature guides to go with some of these books. I haven't decided. If you have any literature guides or book studies or anything like that you've done that you notice maybe go with some of the books I have chosen, let me know in the comment section if if there's a certain company or certain one I should just try, because I am thinking about doing that. I'm not sure. These types of books, these family read out louds, we usually do during our morning basket or morning time or group subjects, whatever you want to call that. I call it morning time. That's when we do these read out louds. So I don't know how I feel about adding in the literature guides, but that's not what this video is about. So let me move on before it's a 2-hour video about me not being able to make up my mind. So let me see. I have my notes really quick just to make sure I don't forget anything. Okay, so the first book that I wanted to mention, again, these are going to be in no specific order. These first two I'm mentioning first because I actually don't have a copy of them yet. One of them's not released yet, and the other, it got delayed in shipping, so I have to insert pictures, and I wanted to make sure I did not forget these titles. But the first book is The Wild Robot Protects. So this book is actually the third installment of this little book series, The Wild Robot, and we absolutely love the first two books, so I don't think that this book is going to be any different. Now, The Wild Robot Protects doesn't come out until September, so that's obviously why I don't have a copy of it, but but we are really looking forward to this book. Again, we really enjoyed the first two. And my kids have been asking me pretty regularly, is that book out yet? Is that book out yet? So, so I know that they're looking forward to reading this one. Now, the second book is called Out of My Mind. Now, this book, this is the one that got delayed in shipping. I actually took a little picture so I could tell you what it's about. So this book is about 11-year-old Melody is not like most people. She can't walk, she can't talk, she can't write, all because she has cerebral palsy. But she also has a photographic memory. She can remember every detail of everything she has ever experienced. She's the smartest kid in her whole school, but no one knows it. Most people, her teachers, her doctors, her classmates, dismiss her as mentally challenged because she can't tell them otherwise. But Melody refuses to be defined by her disability, and she's determined to let everyone know it somehow. This book just sounded fantastic. Again, a lot of these books are just books that I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds good. Or my kids heard about them and they wanted to read them. So again, it's just kind of like a mix of whatever we thought sounded good. So keep that in mind. The next book is Wolf Hollow. Now, this book, just so you know, I haven't read majority of these books, so I don't know, all the content in them, but they sound fantastic. So just keep that in mind, and do keep in mind that my kids are a little bit older, being 11 and 14. I have a middle schooler and a high schooler, so my kids are older. So the content in these books might be a little bit older as well. I haven't read them all. I've only read maybe 2 or 3 in this list. But this one, Wolf Hollow, sounds really fantastic as well. This is, despite growing up in the shadows cast by 2 world wars, Annabelle has lived a mostly quiet, steady life in her small Pennsylvania town, until the day new student Betty walks into her class. Betty quickly reveals herself to be cruel and manipulative, and though her bullying seems isolated at first, it quickly escalates. So this one sounds really good. I think that there's going to be a lot of great talking points in this one. It's actually thicker than I thought that it was going to be. I didn't pay attention to the page count. I just assumed it would be thinner. I don't know why, but yeah, I was trying to get a mix of like different size books because I picked 20 of them. But yeah, so Wolf Hollow. Now, the next one is The Thing About Jellyfish. This one sounded so sad. Okay, so this one is, Susie has always known things that other kids don't. She can explain the sleep pattern of ants. She knows there are 150 million jellyfish stings on the planet every year. She knows that the average middle school kid contains about 20 billion of Shakespeare's atoms, but she can't understand how Franny Jackson's lifetime could be cut so short. Before Susie could make up for the worst thing she'd ever done to her best friend, when Susie formulates a bold plan to travel across the globe alone to learn the truth about how her friend died, she discovers that the answer she most needs could be right in her own backyard. So again, this one does sound like it's geared towards older children. It deals with, grieving and the loss of a friend. Again, I think that this is going to have a lot of fantastic talking points. And it also sounds like I already feel like I'm getting cheered up. Like I'm already going to cry, and I just read the back of the book. But I am looking forward to reading this one again. I've never read it, and my kids actually were one of the ones that, my oldest was one of the ones that, why can't I speak? My oldest is the one that asked me to get this book. Okay, so the next one I have is called Indian Captive, the story of Mary Jemison. Am I saying, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Jemison? I think so. Jemison. So with this one, it says 12-year-old Mary Jemison took her peaceful days on her family's farm in eastern Pennsylvania for granted. But on a spring day in 1758, something happened that changed her life forever. A band of warriors invaded the house and took the Jemison family captive. Mary was separated from her parents and brothers and sister. She traveled with the Indians to southern Ohio. And this is based on a true story. So my kids really do like it when stories are based off of truth. They just find it more interesting. But this one just sounded really good. It was already in my library, my home library. So I thought I might as well pull this one out. I intended to read this years ago, and we just never got to it. So this year, hopefully, we'll get to it. The next one is called, I think it's pronounced The Mofats. This is supposed to be like a silly read. Again, I'm the type of person that I like to kind of mix in the silly with the heavy. I found when I was reading so many books that were so serious and emotional that I wanted to make sure I was adding in some silly books in between to kind of lighten the mood. So that's kind of what this book is for in this stack that I'm sharing with you. But this is The Mofats. This says, meet the Mofats. There is Sylvie, the oldest, the cleverest, and most days at least, the responsible one. Joey, who Joey, who though only 12 is the man of the house sometimes, Janie, who has a terrific upside down way of looking at the world, and Rufus, who may be the littlest but always gets in the biggest trouble. Even the ordinary Mofat day is packed with extraordinary fun. Only a Mofat could get locked in a bread box all afternoon, or dance with a dog in front of the whole town, or hitch a ride on a boxcar during kindergarten recess, and only a Mofat could turn mistakes and mischief into hilarious, one-of-a-kind adventures. So again, this is one to kind of lighten the mood. And again, I do have a sixth grader and a ninth grader, so I was kind of trying to pick books that would be that they would both enjoy. So this one just seems fun. So the next one is The Railway Children. I've had this book on my shelf for a long time, and every year I say I'm going to read it. This year I'm going to. This one is When Father Goes Away with Two Strangers One Evening, the lives of Roberta, Peter, and Phyllis are shattered. They and Mother have to move from their comfortable London home to go and live in a simple country cottage where Mother writes books to make ends meet. So again, this one sounds really, really great. I think what happened was the year I was going to read this, I ended up reading The Family Under the Bridge instead, and I just never went back and read this one. But The Family Under the Bridge is another really good book. That one is a sweet story. So the next one is In the Year of the Boar and Jackie Robinson. I remember reading this one when I was a kid, and I remember really enjoying it, but I don't remember much about this story. I mean, I was young, like maybe like 8 or 9 when I read this book, so I do not remember anything in it. I just remember that I liked it, and I thought that this would be a good time to fit this one in as well. Now, this one is about Shirley Temple Wong is thrilled to be moving from her home in China to America, but it isn't easy. She doesn't speak English, the kids at school ignore her, and she feels very far from home. But then summer comes, bringing the miracle of baseball. Suddenly, Shirley is playing stickball and following superstar Jackie Robinson as he leads the Brooklyn Dodgers to victory after victory. Jackie Robinson proves that in America, the grandson of a slave can make a difference. And for Shirley as well, on the ball field and off, America becomes the land of opportunity. Again, it sounds fantastic. I remember liking it when I was young, but again, I don't remember much about it. But I had it on my shelf already. Why not read it? Okay, the next one is The Witch of Blackbird Pond. This was something I was going to assign to my oldest daughter, but I decided to just make it a read out loud. This one is Kit has grown up on the island of Barbados, loved and pampered by her grandfather. But after his death, Kit must leave. It's not proper for a 16-year-old girl to live by herself. She's heard stories about her aunt and uncle who live in the colony of Connecticut. They are the only relative Kit knows of. So alone and desperate, she set sails to live with them in New England. So again, this is one that I read a long time ago and I just don't remember it. I don't even remember if I liked it. That's how much I don't remember this book. But again, I was going to add it as a reader for my oldest daughter, but I thought that this would be a good one to throw in for us to just read together. So there's that. Now, this one is From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler? I don't know how to say it. It's right there. I'm struggling. Okay, now with this one, it says, Claudia knew that she could never pull off the old-fashioned kind of running away. So she decided to run not from somewhere, but to somewhere. Somewhere large, warm, comfortable, and beautiful. And that is how Claudia and her brother Jamie ended up living in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and right in the middle of a mystery that made headlines. Now, again, this one was supposed to be one of the ones that kind of lighten the mood. I don't know if this book has any kind of like sadness or anything in it. Again, I haven't read this one, but I was hoping that this one was going to be silly. I don't know. Let me know if you know, but I was hoping it was going to be silly because this one is not silly. This one is Where the Red Fern Grows. This is so sad. So, Where the Red Fern Grows. This one is Billy has long dreamt of owning not one, but 2 dogs. So when he's finally able to save up enough money for 2 pups to call his own, he's ecstatic. Soon Billy and his hounds become the finest hunting team in the valley, but tragedy awaits these determined hunters, now friends, and in time Billy learns that hope can grow out of despair. I already feel tearing up, but yeah, so this one, I know that there's an old movie as well that if I can find a copy or get a hold of that, we will watch it. I don't know if there's an updated version to the movie, but I do know that whatever book we read that has a movie, we'll be watching that as well. So this one's sad. I mean, we read Old Yeller this year and cried, so we'll read Where the Red Fern Grows this year, you know, for the new school year and cry as well. Okay, now this next one is called Song for a Whale. This is something that I just purchased in a random like book outlet order. I couldn't sleep one night and I ordered a stack of books and this was in there. So it sounds really, really great. It's called Song for a Whale. And this one is Iris is a 12-year-old girl who was born deaf. Her hearing classmates at school aren't good at sign language like she is, so it's not easy to make friends or even communicate with them. Blue 55 is a whale who sings a song that no other whales can hear. Scientists have dubbed him the loneliest whale in the world. When Iris learns about Blue 55 in science class, she knows exactly how he must feel and comes up with an idea she's going to sing back to him. Another one I feel like I'm going to cry in, but it sounds fantastic. Now, this one is called A Place to Hang the Moon. This one, when I read the back of it, kind of gave me a little bit of like the War I Finally Won vibes. It's set during World War II. So with this one, it says, a heartwarming story about 3 siblings evacuated from London to the countryside during World War II who are hoping that a temporary living situation will turn into a forever family. Sounds fantastic. I mean, again, it kind of reminded me of The War I Finally Won and what is it? The War That Saved My Life and The War I Finally Won. We read those books a couple of years ago. We loved them. This one kind of reminds me of that a little bit. I don't know how similar they'll be. The situation seems similar, but sounds like a good book. It's on the list. Okay. Now this next one is called Wish. Now with this one, it says, Charlie Reese has been making the same secret with Wish every day since 4th grade, but when she is sent to live with family she barely knows, it seems unlikely that her wish will ever come true. That is until she meets Wishbone, a skinny stray dog who captures her heart, and Howard, a neighbor boy who proves surprising in lots of ways. Suddenly Charlie is in serious danger of discovering that what she thought she wanted may not be all what she needs. Wait, what? Did I say that weird? I think I said that weird. What? Why can't I read this sentence? Okay, so it says, suddenly Charlie is in serious danger of discovering that what she thought she wanted may not be at all what she needs. There we go. I got through it. Now, this one, again, sounds fantastic. There's a dog in it. My daughter will love this, my younger daughter, so it's on the list. Next one is Letters from Rivka. This is just one that was on my shelf that we never got to during one of our unit studies, so I thought I'd add it now. Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good though. This one is Rivka knows nothing about America when she flees from Russia with her family in 1919, but she dreams she will at last be safe from the Russian soldiers and their harsh treatment of the Jews in the new country. Throughout her journey, Rivka carries with her a cherished volume of poetry. In it, she records her observations and experiences in the forms of letters to her beloved cousin she left behind. So again, this one seems really, heartwarming, kind of sad. Sounds good though. So Letters from Rivka. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but there's that. Caddy Woodlawn. This is one that I've been trying to get to, no joke, like 5 years. I've been trying to read this book for 5 years. This is one that we've actually put down, and it wasn't because it was bad. It was never the right time. So this year I am like super determined to try and fit Caddy Woodlawn in. Now this one is, Caddy Woodlawn is a real adventurer. She'd rather hunt than sew and plow than bake, and tries to beat her brother's dares every chance she gets. Caddy is friends with the Indians who scare most of the neighbors who, like her mother and sisters, don't understand her at all. So again, I kind of feel like this is a little bit of a coming of age story, but sounds really fantastic, and it sounds like something my kids would really, really enjoy if we can actually finish it. So I'm really looking forward to getting this one read this year. The next one is Miracles on Maple Hill. This is another book that we've been trying to read for a couple of years. I've had it for a while, and we just never got to it. So determined once again. So with this one, this is, the war is over and Marley's father is home, but he's not the same. Something inside him seems as cold and dead as the winter world outside. But when the family moves to Grandma's old house on Maple Hill, miracles begin to happen. So again, it sounds like another really, really fantastic story. Probably another one I'll cry in. I cry in most of our read out louds. This one I'll cry in. I know I will. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Yeah. So this one, it says, if you start to read this book, you will go on a journey with a 9-year-old boy named Bruno, though this book isn't a book for a 9-year-old. And sooner or later, you will arrive with Bruno at a fence. Fences like this exist all over the world. We hope you never have to encounter one. Again, about the Holocaust. So I did read this one a long time ago. I don't remember everything about it. I remember it was sad. I remember I cried, but that's not really a shocker. I cry at most books. But it was sad. So and there is a movie that we will watch as well. But yeah, a lot of heavy reads I feel this year. A lot of heavy reads. Now, the next one, we're almost done. The next one is Where the Mountain Meets the Moon. I've had this book on my shelf for a long time too and just never picked it up. So added it to our reading list this year. This one is I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name right. Young Min Lee lives in the valley of Fruitless Mountain, where she and her parents spend their days working hard in the fields. At night, Min Lee listens to her father's tales about the old man of the moon, who knows the answers to everything. Min Lee sets out on a quest to find the old man in the moon and bring good fortune back to her family. Along the way, she meets many magical friends, including a talking fish, a powerful king, and a dragon who can't fly. So again, this one sounds like another really fantastic book. It is a pretty thick read, but I mean, I might get this one on Audible to kind of help us out, but it sounds really, really great. Now, the last one is called Wonder, and this one sounds fantastic. There is a movie on this as well that I've never seen. I don't know the story really. I only know what I read on the cover. This one is August was born with a facial difference that prevented him from going to mainstream school until now. He's about to enter 5th grade at Beecher Prep, and if you've ever been the new kid, then you know how hard that can be. The thing is, Augie's just an ordinary kid with an extraordinary face, but can he convince his new classmates that he's just like them despite appearances? So again, I think this is going to have a lot of fantastic talking points. I've honestly been wanting to read this book for a long time. I've been wanting to read this for a long time, and I made sure not to watch the movie until I read the book. We just prefer to read the book and then watch the movie. So I don't really know all the ins and outs of it, but it sounds fantastic and I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, so those are the 20 books that I chose for the 2023-2024 homeschool year for our family read out louds. Now, this is not going to be every book we read. We also have holiday books that I pull out that we read every single year. And we usually choose like one Christmas themed chapter book every year that we read during the month of December. We just haven't chose that yet. So chosen, I don't know. We just haven't picked that. There we go. We just haven't picked that one out yet. So we will have another book to add into this. It's just we didn't pick it yet. So last year we read The Christmas Pig and we really enjoyed that one. This year, I don't know what we're going to choose, so it's not in the list yet. But also, my kids do have their own independent reading that they'll be doing as well. And I also have books that I will be reading just to my youngest daughter that are not in this video as well. So we do a bunch of reading. So this isn't everything, just family read out louds. So if you have any comments or opinions on any of these books, please let me know in the comment section. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the books that I chose this year. Or if you just have any recommendations, I'd love to hear that as well. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It is a free way to support my channel. And thank you so much for, stopping by. I do really appreciate it. You have a great day. Bye.